Hey everybody, and welcome to Fight Week Focus, a UFC and Fanatics original production. This is an all-new podcast series where we sit down for exclusive interviews with fighters ahead of their walk to the octagon. We're here in New Orleans this week ahead of UFC 318, and we sat down with both men in the main event who are vying for the BMF title. And up first is lightweight legend Dustin Poirier. Well, Dustin, I couldn't think of a better way to kick off this new series that we're calling Fight Week Focus than to have you as our very first guest during this last fight week of yours. So thanks for joining me. And the first question is an obvious one. How has this week been for you?
It's been smooth so far. A lot of media though. I flew into Lafayette, Louisiana with my team, and we drove here to New Orleans. So I spent a couple nights at my house. That's a little bit different for fight week. You know, usually I'm traveling and staying in a hotel or Airbnb somewhere where I don't know, but coming back home and familiar places and faces is really nice.
Yeah. Well, here we are in your home state of Louisiana, and this event really all came together because of you. When you think of the Dustin that made the walk for his WEC debut nearly 15 years ago, what would that Dustin think of this career that you've built and it all leading to this last event here in Louisiana?
Keep scrapping. Keep scrapping. It's going to be beautiful. That's what I would tell him.
And when you make the walk, I know you fought in Louisiana before, but when you make the walk on Saturday with fans, friends, family, what do you think it's going to feel like?
I'm hoping it's like it was 10 years ago when I fought in the same arena the last time UFC was here. I just felt right. It just felt right. And I'm hoping that same feeling.
This fight and the way it came together kind of just feels right. A lot of people have been really focused on this idea of this being a really full circle moment because in storytelling and movies and books, we rarely see it in sports. For something to come full circle, it's the perfect story. So when you think about just the history that you have with Max, I know you've been talking about it all week, but for you to have this full circle moment, does it make walking away any easier to have it kind of buttoned up a little bit more than just kind of going off on a random fight?
Yeah, it's definitely buttoned up. Like being home, I was Max's debut fight in the UFC. He's going to be my last fight. All the energy and production put into coming to New Orleans and everything they've done that they have planned to play on the screens and the jumbotrons in the arena on fight night. It's just, this is it. You know, I'm not. It's just done too well, and I'm at a point where like, I'm not going to be one of those guys coming. You're not going to see a fight announcement in 6 or 7 months from now for me. It's like it's done. This is perfect timing in the right spot, the right time, the right mindset. It's exactly what I wanted. And
for a career to come full circle, to come in an end the way that you described in such a thankless and unforgiving sport, very few people get the opportunity to decide this is my last fight and I'm going to do it in my hometown and I'm going to make a big production of it. For you to be able to do that doesn't just speak to like your career and the legacy that you've built, but I think it also kind of just speaks to the person that you are. So to get to make the decision and to get to make a big production of it and spend this last 2 days of your last marathon with media, just what has it been like for you and what does it mean to you as Dustin the person?
It means a lot. You know, I feel appreciated by the company for this even happening. You know, I didn't know when I asked them or brought the idea to them that I wanted to, okay, I'm going to retire. If there's any way we can do it in Louisiana, you haven't been there in a decade. What can we do to make that happen? For it all to come together, not only the UFC, the state of Louisiana, to make this happen, I feel appreciated. And it feels good, you know, because like I just said, like you said, we're going to answer some questions over again. I was just doing press, and I don't sit back and reflect on my career. So I don't think of like, oh, I did all this cool stuff that, you know, but this week seeing clips and fans reaching out and just the support and love from the fans, from the company, it feels good. I feel like I'm appreciated.
You had an answer to a question in an interview yesterday with UFC.com that kind of just really stood out to me, and I wrote it down. And it was when you started this, you were just chasing your own dreams. You didn't really plan or mean to inspire people, but then you talked about how people reach out and say, you know, I started jiu-jitsu because of you. I started martial arts because of you. And without taking the time to really reflect, because I'm sure you'll spend a lot of time doing that after Saturday, what is the impact, do you think, of your career on the sport?
Oh, man.
That's a loaded question. You can
It's
you can take some time.
Yeah, it's tough. A kid who chased his dreams and learned on the job and learned from mistakes, learned from victories, and remained a student, tried to improve himself inside the ring, outside the ring. You know, because I started doing this so young, and then the documentary Fightville started getting filmed when I was still a kid, and then it came out at the beginning of my move to the WEC and UFC and all that. So I feel like I have a lot of fans been following me on this journey for a long time, and also from a point where, like, a lot of these other fighters, even if they've been watching them fight, they didn't go on the journey with them the whole time because they didn't feel attached to them because they don't have a documentary or things like that. So it like brings extra with the fans who've been there since the beginning. They've kind of followed my journey, watched me become a father, watch me open businesses, change gyms, you know. So everybody out there who followed me this whole time and supported me and went on this journey with me, I'm just very appreciative of the whole game, the whole fight game, everything.
I think you let a lot of people see Dustin the fighter, but then also Dustin the person, which is kind of rare. I mean, I think a lot of athletes, for good reasons, choose to keep a lot of their life outside of their sport very private, but you've always been very public with your beautiful family, all your community work. Does that make this all the more special, knowing that, like, people love you because they know you as the person?
I definitely appreciate it. I feel like I didn't try to portray something I wasn't, or put on a facade to try to get followers, or say cool things, or rehearse lines, or wear crazy outfits. You know, I just fought hard. But that being said, that shows you how fake the world is nowadays, when somebody can be their true self and be an outlier. You know, that's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. That's crazy to me.
I think a lot of things that people overlook is that this sport is also an entertainment business. And so sometimes people can get lost in that entertainment aspect. But what's really great about you and about Max too is that you both are entertaining. You don't have to try to be entertaining because it's who you are and how you live and how you fight. So with a fight like this, like, it doesn't need the promo. You both cut incredible promos for it, but you're entertaining just by being. And so
and our track records, like, you know, it's going to be a scrap anytime I'm in there. You know, it's going to be a scrap anytime he's in there. So us together, it's just, you don't have to oversell it, over talk about it. Fans know what they're in for. I know what I'm in for. He knows what he's in for. And I think everybody kind of feels that.
Yeah, it's exciting. This is actually the longest trilogy in UFC history.
Daniel Cormier just told me that. I didn't know
Dang
that.
it, Daniel. He beat me to it. Okay, well, this is the longest trilogy. Crazy. And it's common to say
from boys to men, like, that's
literally,
yeah.
You changed so much as fighters, but so much as people in between the first and second fight, and now between the second and third fight. How do you balance so much can change, but certain things will stay the same about this opponent? How do you balance that?
I'm kind of embracing it. Like, a lot of things change, and spanning 13 years, it's 3 completely different fights, you know? So that's what I went about camp like it was a different fight. Obviously, I know it's going to be contested on the feet a lot. That's just the styles we have. But other than that, we're completely different people each time we fought. So that's what I went into this camp with that mindset.
Yeah, lots of changes. The Gilly Goose Club now exists, which,
right.
By the way, are we taking applications or is it closed?
Nah, we're not taking applications.
Still not taking applications?
Still.
Oh, all right, whatever.
The roster's full.
That's fine. I mean, that's good people to be around, right? Right?
The silliest.
There are a select few people that can fight for this BMF title. It's really an exclusive club of people who are even worthy of stepping into the octagon for
100%.
it. So to ride off into the sunset with that BMF strap, what would it mean to you?
Mean everything. That's the goal. That's the goal here in a couple of days, is BMF forever. You know, lay the gloves down, carry that belt out of there, go home to my family, see what life has after fighting, and just be a bad motherfucker.
Love it. What does life look like after fighting in this moment? Because you don't really know, right?
Yeah, all right.
But when you imagine what it's going to be like just to be Dustin the dad, Dustin the husband, and that's it. What does it look like?
I'm kind of scared, you know, because I've been doing this for so long. I don't know what it's like to not have that in the back of my head always of what's next, what could I be doing to get better. I'm excited and scared at the same time. I don't know what it's going to be like.
I think there's things from the sport mindset, things that you can take that do carry over into life.
For sure, work ethic, discipline, a lot of things. You know, fighting is life, so
Yeah.
all these things have taught me lessons that are going to benefit me post-fighting. But circling a day on a calendar where the whole world's going to watch me fight another man,
Gonna miss it?
that's gonna be tough, yeah.
Yeah. Is this one a big circle?
This one's the last
The biggest circle.
My pen ran out of ink.
I love it. I also loved learning where the Diamond nickname came from in your interview with Megan O'Leary, that a coach just wrote it in.
Crazy Tim, Crater, yeah.
That's wild that he picked a random name that ended up encapsulating you as a person and your career and your legacy so well. Like, could there have been a better word for him to write in than the Diamond?
I wouldn't pick a different nickname. I love it. At first, I was like, that's kind of strange, you know? And then it just, years went by, years kept going by, and I'm like, this is perfect.
You lived up to it. I think your legacy does too. Legacy is something we throw around a lot. Everyone always wants to know, like, how would you describe your legacy? But it's rare we get to ask these questions because it's rare that we know that, you know, a career is coming to an end. So when you reflect, sorry, I'm going to make you do it. What is the legacy of Dustin Poirier?
A dream chaser, a kid who walked into the unknown, bettered his life, bettered his community, and fought his ass off, and never said die. Showed up every time, left it all out there. A real fighter. That's what my legacy is going to be.
A martial artist in every sense of the word. I'm not going to end it on this, but I'm going to give you a very out of left field question. When you think of your life as no longer the athlete, hopefully still a fan of mixed martial arts.
Oh, of course.
We still see you
for
around.
For life.
For life. We'll see you on the Hall of Fame red carpet. I already know it.
I hope so. That would be an honor.
And hopefully we'll have you back a lot. Will you still be a part of the sport in terms of coaching and being a teammate, or is it just a clear cut?
No, I'm always going to be connected. It's not like a cut where I'm walking away and never talk. I want to be working for ESPN. I want to be in the gym helping young fighters. I'm going to be on the mats myself in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. I'm just not going to be taking the kind of damage that comes along with chasing these dreams. But I'm going to be on the mat, still a student, having fun, staying in shape, learning new things, trying to help other fighters and people with the lessons I've learned through fighting. No, that's forever.
Yeah, I love that. And
it's a lifestyle. It's not like something I do. This is my life.
Yeah, and it always will be.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of anyone? Like, is there anyone that you're the one that signs all the autographs? Is there anyone that you're like, oh my gosh, if I ever saw this person, or maybe it's a fighter one day, someone coming up through your gym that you're like, I would stop them on the street and ask for an autograph?
I'm sure there are, like if I ran into somebody, I'm sure there are people that I would be like, oh shit, like starstruck, you know. This Saturday, Lil Wayne's gonna be with me. That's a big moment for me, you know, growing up in Louisiana and listening to his music as a kid my whole life, and walking out to when I made my UFC debut, I walked out to a Lil Wayne song. Now I'm closing my career, Lil Wayne's walking out with me. So that's pretty awesome. He's a guy who, I've done a podcast with him, but I've never met him in person.
Wow.
So to finally get to meet him is kind of cool.
That's amazing. Is it still Drop the World?
No, we're switching it out.
Ooh, okay. We'll let it be a surprise. I love that detail too. It's so fun to have him be able to walk out with you, be in the corner. Will he be cornering you?
No, he's just
okay. He's just gonna walk out and then hopefully front row. Okay, we love it. We love it. There's one more thing that really stood out to me while I was prepping for this. I think it was also during the interview you did with Megan, where you learned this big lesson from your mom to leave things better than you found it. And as an athlete, and especially a martial artist, it can be really hard to look back and say, yeah, I left this sport better than I found it. But when you look back on your impact and just all of the changes we've seen in the sport since you started in it, and knowing that you really were a part of a lot of these big changes and the reason for them, what do you think of your impact and how you're leaving the sport?
It's another tough question. There's a lot of things that come to mind. Hopefully other young fighters know that they can get there by showing up and actually fighting. You don't have to talk your way into things. I know, like we said, this is entertainment, but you can let who you really are get you where you want to go. You know, you don't have to fake things, and just through hard work and dedication, you can move mountains, and anything's possible. Coming from where I come from to where I'm at now and the life I built for me and my family, if you sacrifice enough and really believe in yourself, you can make your wildest dreams come true. I just hope people are inspired to chase their dreams through this whole journey I've been on.
You're a living example of all the things you just said. So thank you for all the memories. Thank you and your family for all the sacrifice, because it's them too. Your team, everyone. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Can't wait for Saturday.
Appreciate it.
That was lightweight legend Dustin the Diamond Poirier, and as he gears up for his last dance inside the octagon, you can gear up for UFC 318 with official event merchandise at UFC store. And with that, we welcome in the former featherweight champion and current BMF title holder, Max Holloway. Well, Max, the BMF, the blessed man forever. I know you got to New Orleans a handful of days ago, so just how's it been so far?
It's been great. I mean, the people here are great. I just talked to DC not too long ago, and he asked me, "What do you rate the food here? You know, is it top 10? Because we got to travel the world, right?" I told him, "Bro, the food here is definitely top 5 in the world, because it's just great. I mean, I love seafood, I love salty food, so it's all good." So, thankfully, we did come earlier. I did get to have a little taste, but I'm looking forward to Sunday after the fight for sure.
I love it. I actually do a food segment on the weigh-in show, and Daniel picked where we were going. We shot a segment yesterday, and his flight got delayed. And so he had to miss it. He's still going to get it on Friday, but I'm not kidding. It was like maybe one of the best meals I've ever had.
So good. What was it?
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I don't
Okay, all right.
I'm
a masochist.
45 now. I might be like chewing on the table.
True,
55,
you're right. So I had oxtail for the first time.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Unreal. And they only make it once a month. And the day that we go in was the day that they made it.
Oh, wow.
Stuffed catfish, fried chicken is like kind of the thing.
Yeah,
It's called Chicken's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so good.
You guys got gator?
No, there wasn't gator on the menu that day. They do like a rotating menu,
Yeah.
but did you have it?
I had fried gator.
Oh, you had
so
fried?
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sunday you got to do grilled.
Grilled gator?
It's like, the taste is the same. I don't know. It's just, I like the grilled because I feel like sometimes the fried just tastes like fried.
Too much fried. Yeah,
you know? Yeah. We could literally talk about food all day.
Oh,
I don't want to do this to you.
I love food. I mean, I had shrimp and grits. My boys would get like jambalaya and stuff. I'd have a bite of theirs. They had like blackened fish. I'd have a bite of theirs. I had a po' boy shrimp. So that thing's so good. But yeah, the food here is unreal. I didn't know. You know, I slept on their game over here. So I apologize.
Well, actually, like speaking of good food and good time, I want to talk about some life stuff, specifically your trip to Korea. In April. I feel like the world loved seeing you and TKZ together, but didn't really know like how it came together. So I just want to talk a little bit about your trip to Seoul, your involvement with TKZ and like the audition episode that they had.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
He kept reaching out to me, and he was like, "Hey, my friend, do you want to do seminar? We come out, we do a bunch of fun stuff." And I was like, yeah, for sure. We just didn't know when we was fighting. And then finally we had an idea of maybe we might be fighting on this card or fighting with Dustin. So it was like, oh, yeah, we have an opportunity. This is it. And he's like, oh, we can bring you up and this and that. And he's just a man. I love him. He's family now. He's actually coming up. Him and his wife is coming up to watch the fight. So they'd be here Saturday night. So it just great people. I mean, we did everything. We did the tryout, like he said. I'm trying to harass him to get some Hawaii fighters on his card so we can go back to Korea, because he took care. It was like we were just the VIP, like, you know, like we went. He always asks me because he knows we love Japan. He's like, "What you love, Japan or Korea better?" I'm like, man, it's so hard because with Korea we got the VIP treatment, we got the zombie treatment. Wherever we went, we got the zombie, and he was tripping out. He's like, "Bro, I didn't know you was this big in Korea." I was like, "Hey, hook a brother up, with some sponsors or something. I can get a passport or something. Please help me out." So, hey, they're just good dude, good people, good family, and I mean, look, he's coming to the fight, right? And you know, with the audition for his fight was cool. I got to watch a fight. I got to pick certain fighters, and then they get to fight on his on a bigger card. So that card that we did was like almost like a contender series to get to his big show. And I got to pick a couple guys. one of the guys that I picked was hurt, so I got to re-pick a guy, and I actually picked a guy that lost because I was like, bro, this guy is gonna be he's super good. Like, you know, I was more intrigued with his loss than the guy who won versus him. So we gave him the shot. He fought on the Korean show, and he ended up winning. So it was pretty cool.
I love that. That's got to be so cool to like take a different like perspective on fighting, to kind of like just stand behind the cage and look at it almost from like a Dana perspective or a matchmaker perspective.
For sure.
And you see things in fighters that maybe other people don't see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was kind of tripping out when I told him, because I was supposed to pick from the winners, and then so I picked 3 winners, and then when one of the boys said they couldn't do it, he got hurt. I asked him. I was like, this was the next day after the show was done, and I asked him, and I told him, bro, can like. He's like, oh, you can pick somebody. And I was like, okay. And I was like, can I pick somebody who lost? He's like, he's like, sure, bro, if you want to. And then, you know, we did the bit. We called the guy up. The boy was, he was from Busan, right? And he was on his train back home to Busan. And we called him and we FaceTimed him. And was like, bro, you got the shot. He's like, what? And he's like crying and stuff. And but he ended up winning. So I was like, bro, good on him. He's an animal.
I love it. Zombies promotion is like the real deal. I actually really want to go for like one of the proper fight nights because the production
is unreal.
Yeah.
They're on Fight Pass, the big proper ones, the huge ones. So you gotta go. I mean, you'd love Korea. Korea is great. The people are good. If you go at Zombie and you don't like spicy food, just get ready for him to tell you, Korean baby, eat this. That's it. That's how he got me into spicy.
Didn't he just say too bad?
Yeah, no, he would tell me, Korean baby, eat this. So when we took him surfing, and he doesn't know how to swim. He's an animal. He doesn't know how to swim. We did the surfing bit and with him, and we was there for 3 hours. He stayed in the water for 3 hours. He thought he wasn't gonna like it, but then he fell in love with surfing. Now he still don't know how to swim, but he's out there surfing the waves. I'm like, bro, this guy's crazy. One time he fell off his board, and we told him, when you fall, just kind of be dead weight and let the body, and you know, let the wave just kind of take you, and then stand up, because it's shallow, right, at this wave pool. And he did it way too well. I was like, bro, I jumped in the water. I was like, oh shit. Me and my cameraman was over there tripping out. I was like, bro, what the hell is he finding? He just thought, I'm good, but he loves it. So I was teasing him when every time it was hot food, he was like, Korean baby, eat this, Korean baby, eat this. So when we went surfing, I was like, Hawaiian baby, do this. So
I was gonna say, I know Rush isn't a baby anymore, but you could have been like, Rush did this when he was like 5, so you could figure it out. I love that, and I really love like the respect that you have for each other. But I feel like we see this a lot with you, just because you're like a good dude and like martial artist at its core, where you know you share the octagon with someone and you're kind of like linked for life. Yeah. A lot of people say that, but they don't actually really live it. You really don't see anything come from it. How much more special does it make these fights knowing that like you do have the opportunity to be linked to someone?
Yeah. I mean, it's huge, you know, especially with someone like Dustin being here. Being in his last fight, you know, hometown hero, and we fight him, and it's his last dance. It's crazy to be a part of these opportunities. I was with Koreans, you know, retirement fight. It was kind of up in the air if he was gonna retire or not, but this one with Dustin, he's definitely retiring. So it's amazing to be in this spot, and you know, I mean, it is what it is. As long as the pre-fight, if you don't cross that line, you know what I mean. Like, you can talk shit all you want to me, talk shit about me, talk shit about how I look, whatever. There's certain lines you cross. You talk about my family, you talk about something, then I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even shake my hand after. But if you're saying stuff to me, like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's a fight game. You're trying to sell fights, cool. But when you cross that line and you start talking about family or culture or whatever it may be, beliefs, I'm like, brother, like, don't do that. So
there's a line where the entertainment stops
for
being
sure.
Entertainment.
100%.
Before we move on, though, I just got to give a shout out to your wife, because you guys did that like punching bag game.
Oh yeah.
Didn't she set the high score?
Yeah, she beat me in Zombie. But I think I broke the machine. So that's
and then she did it, and it thought it was you.
I just joking.
Okay.
She fights hard. She's actually a professional athlete too. She's a professional surfer. She was on the World Surf League. She's just doing free surf stuff, content and stuff. But she's an animal. She's strong. She punches hard. I hold mitts for her sometimes, and I'm like, bro, I always trip out how strong her punch is. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, well, I see the videos. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
And then I show my husband, I'm like, can you hold pads for me? And he's like, no. Well, I also probably would miss the pad and punch him in the face by accident. But permanent move to lightweight.
Yes.
It really kind of opens up the opportunity for maybe you to enjoy life a little bit more.
Oh,
See you doing a lot of other stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Knowing that a move back down isn't looming anymore. How have you just gone about like life differently?
Life been so good. So good. So I like streaming sometimes. So I like playing games, right? So I eat or whatever, and I'm playing games, and it's like, just playing games for a while. I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I want a snack. At 45, I'd be like, oh man, no, just keep playing, whatever, 55, I step on the scale, like, holy shit, yeah, I can go get like 3 snacks. So I go on there and I treat myself, So at the end of the day, life is just better, I can go around, be like, even when we was at 45, we talked about food, it wouldn't like, I wouldn't care too much, but then there would be a point where I get to be like, okay, yeah, I'm good. But now 55, we can, like you said, we can do this whole segment on food. I don't care because I'm right there now.
Have you ever had Kuji raw ramen? It's like a Korean way of preparing ramen.
Well, I'm sure we had some type of Korean ramen up there, and I loved it. And he sent me back home with like 100. They did not send me. He mailed me like 100 packs. So I love it.
It's a really simple recipe, and if you haven't had it, I'm gonna insist. It's shin ramen, like the spicy one, cheese, like you use less water, it's less soupy, and then fried egg on top.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Just
yeah.
save that in the back of your head when you get back home. Trust me.
Anything with cheese is amazing.
It's so good. Because at first you're like, eh. On the topic of food, you've said to me and to a lot of people before that like Muffin Top Max was, the name of the one that moved up to lightweight previously. Yeah. What is the nickname now? Since it's probably not a muffin top.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the nickname was, but yeah, that second fight with Poirier, I definitely had my best DC bodysuit on. So at the end of the day, that wasn't fun. That wasn't good. I mean, it was what it is. We took the fight thinking I was gonna go out there and get my hand raised. I know what I signed up for, but yeah, the DC stunt double body didn't work out in that one. So this one, you can see a little bit more bigger, a little bit more tone, and a little bit more happier.
When you talk about the differences between fight 1 and fight 2, so much time passed between those 2 fights, and so much time has passed between these 2. I mean, you're different fighters, different people between these fights. When you look back at the Max that fought Dustin in his debut, what is the biggest difference between the 2?
In the first one?
Yeah.
I was about 60 pounds lighter. I didn't have to cut weight to make that weight. I look like a skeleton. They could put me in a high school classroom for the skeletons and point out where everything is. So we was tiny. We was kids, So at the end of the day, that fight, you can't even take nothing away from. The second fight, we can't even take nothing away from. That was 6 years ago, It's like me and him, 6 years ago, we fought for an interim lightweight title. And 6 years later, we're stood in the top, That just speaks volumes, Like, tell me other people who's been 6 years or whatever still rocking this, It's not too many, so we're doing something right. We're changing, we're evolving in the game, so you can't take nothing from either of those fights, I believe. And if you are, then, you can take some stuff, certain stuff. Certain things stick with you, right? But at the end of the day, we're 2 totally different fighters. You'd be stupid as hell to be looking at that fight and be like, oh yeah, this is how this fight is going to play out.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, I think, between knowing that so much can change and so much can evolve, but then also kind of knowing that like some things might stay the same, like little details maybe that
he's going to still be pulling up his shorts.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the shorts, but
and that's been 6 years. So, at the end of the day, yeah, there's some little stuff that you can take away, but you don't look into it too deep.
Yeah. I was watching your Blessed Era vlog on YouTube, and I think maybe one of the early episodes, one of your coaches was saying he thought the biggest difference was now it's a decade plus of strength and conditioning behind you. How do you feel the size is going to be in this one, knowing that like you've really put in the work to make a permanent move up, and with that, for the average person that might not know, comes with like putting it on a lot of mass intentionally and not with the idea of I'm going to have to cut this eventually. Yeah.
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. There's a clip on the embedded, right? This past week, we just saw it driving here. He was like talking about like, holy shit, Max, I can't believe Max used to be a featherweight. Dustin said this, so at at the end of the day, it's a lot, you know. The way of the rehydration, or even like taking certain supplements, and you know, adding carbs. A lot of I love carbs. You know, I love any type of bread, whatever it is, rice. I love carbs. I got to fight with the UFC PI all fight week all the time, because I'm like, bro, where's my rice? Like, they don't want to give me rice because it's like they follow a certain protocol. But I'm like, bro, I don't care what your protocol say or whatever science it is. I can eat rice to it and I'm gonna make it, you know. So at the end of the day, just being able to add that with the strength and conditioning, like recovery, you know, doing the right things and not worrying, being like, oh shit, we might have to go back to 45 is a huge difference. And I think everybody's, you know, seeing it pay off.
Yeah, we'll definitely see the impact on Saturday. That's the true test, right? Is not the test, but the way for people to finally understand the difference.
Mean, my famous words that everybody likes saying, you know, we're going to find out Saturday night. So
yeah,
it'll be fun.
I actually wrote down something you said during an interview yesterday, which like the slogan for this fight week was "Y'all must have forgot."
Yeah.
I love that.
For sure. You know, I hear the media. I know the media. I see social media. I see the media talk. I've been here before, you know what I mean? I've been here with, after the third Volkanovski fight, you should hang it up, you know, there's no future, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, prove them wrong, you know, we got back to the title shot, and then now, you know, with the Poirier fight, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I hear all the noise, you know, and the only thing you can do is block them out and just, you know, remind people. People sometimes, we're in the entertainment business of the UFC, so whatever is the hottest thing, whatever is sizzling, you know, whatever is a squeaky wheel, that's the thing that's going to get the oil. So at the end of the day, I just got to go make my moment and just let people know, you know, we've been here.
Where does the motivation come from? Because it's been so consistent throughout your whole career. I mean, you have such a long UFC career and a fighting career beyond the UFC, but the motivation for some people comes from like spite, silencing the haters.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like a Max Holloway thing.
I could care less about a hater. I could care less about what people say or what anyone says about me. The motivation just come from, you know, setting up my family. You know, I didn't come from a lot of money. I mean, we wasn't well off. We wasn't super well off, but we wasn't poor. You know what I mean? We was like my grandpa, my grandma took really good care of me. We always had electricity. I always had new shoes in the beginning of the year. Like we wasn't like super well off, but we wasn't poor either. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna act like I had a hard childhood, you know, but at the end of the day, if I could give, you know, my family, you know, like, I gotta pull it back a little bit with Rush, because this guy needs to understand what hard work is still, you know. I don't want to spoil him to the point where he just thinks that the world owes him shit, you know, and I don't want that to be him, you know. So at the end of the day, it just comes from, you know, just giving me and my family, you know, me and my wife, you know what I mean? We want to enjoy. When I retire, I want to be retired, and I want to be able to live a certain way, so that's where it comes from, you know what I mean? The motivation of not only for the sport of breaking records and setting records and daring people to be great, but also the you know, the money that comes with it, you know? I want to be financially set when I'm all said and done, ready to go, and when it's my time to enjoy the world, so I can go travel the world and enjoy the world with my beautiful wife, you know, and my son, when it's time, or even if he wants to go to college, do a thing that we can help support him to get there, you know? So at the end of the day, it's a lot to do with family, and then second comes all the records.
I love it. This isn't the first time you're fighting someone in their retirement fight. You had mentioned earlier, like Zombie was unsure if he was going to retire, but it was, in a weird way, probably the best send-off you could give someone is the fight that the two of you put on.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think people that understand mixed martial arts will get that. And other people might think it's kind of cruel to say that that's the best send-off, but an absolute war, a fight true to you and true to Dustin's style is the best send-off.
100%.
How do you separate any respect or admiration you might feel and like really set that to the side so that when you enter the octagon, it's just time to work?
It's a fight. It's a fight, man. What, you know what I mean? I'm not going to go over there, bend over just because this man, we're in his hometown and this is his last fight and blah, blah. You know, it is what it is. For 25 minutes, he's going to get the blessed man forever. And after that, we can shake and hug it out. We can be friends, you know. Look at me and Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie was trying to take my head off. You know, before I landed my punch, he was coming at me, you know. So at the end of the day, it's just a fight. You got to be able to, you know. There's some people who can't separate the fight from anything, you know. There's some guys that just needs to be mad all the time. And then there's some guys that you go in there, you see them, they can't even turn it on to fight. So You know, I'm just blessed enough to know when to turn it off, when to turn it on. You know, you gotta almost have alter egos in there. That's why a lot of us have nicknames. You know, when I go in there, I'm blessed. You know, we got the blessed man forever belt on the line, so it's time to go out there and show the world.
You're in enemy territory, kind of. What do you think it'll feel like to walk out on Saturday?
I mean, I've been telling everybody. This has been the whole talk, right? I've been telling the whole media road, like, hopefully they boo my ass. You know what I mean? You need to be booing my ass, bro. Like, at the end of the day, if the shoe's on the other foot, we in Hawaii, Dustin Poirier walking out, my Hawaiian's booing his ass. You know, that's just what it is. That's just what it's going to take. Even one of the media guys is from here, and he was like, I'm not going to boo you. I'm like, brother, you need to boo me. I was encouraging him to boo my ass over there at the media row. So you got to, you respect it. It comes with the territory. This guy, bro, he's a hometown legend. You know, state. This is his state. You know what I mean? UFC did this to bring him there. Do the man right. You know, boo my ass. It's all right. I'll get over it. You know, you can cheer for me the next one.
Have you ever been booed?
Yeah, I've been. I went to hostile territory for the first Aldo fight in Rio. You know, went to Rio to fight the King of Rio. I mean, it wasn't really booed. They were saying in a different language that I'm gonna die. So I think that's pretty good at booing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was good, you know, and that comes with the territory. Like I said, if anybody was to fight me in Hawaii, or even when we go to Las Vegas, you guys hear a crowd. It's very Hawaii heavy in there, and no matter who we fight against. I mean, look, there's booing Justin Gaethje, I believe, in my last fight. So that's just how it goes.
It's crazy. What do you want the world to learn about Max Holloway on Saturday?
Learn that come Saturday night, when everything is said and done, let the world know that we've been here, and y'all must have forgot, because we got a lot more to do. We got a lot more work to do. You know, there's a bunch of records that I still want. I want to edge my name next to DC with that double champ. You know, be the 10th or 11th, be the 11 or 12 guy. You know, I know somebody else is trying for it, but if I can do that, then that's the main thing. You know, a reminder. People who come Saturday night is just going to get a reminder of who I am.
Perfect segue too into what, not to look past this fight, of course, but like what is the goal at lightweight? Yeah. And you have history with like 3 of the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So like, what does the path look like realistically?
The path for me looks awesome. It looks great. Like I said, this is his send-off fight. So that's why with Dustin, I need to be spoiler. Because when after this fight, he rides us to the sunset no matter what. He's putting his gloves down. He's gone. After this fight, I got to look at these freaking beasts that's in front of me. There's a bunch of guys that's in front of me. And then there's a couple guys that, that I have history with, like you said. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of work to be done, you know. If I can go out there, have a moment, I think the work gets cut in half. But even if not, we're right there, you know. I have history with, like you said, with Gaethje, you know, with Oliveira, with the champ, to Poirier. It's all fun fights, you know. Not looking past Dustin, but if I have a moment with him, who's to say I'm not the next one for the champ? And even if the moment is not that great, you know what I mean, we might be one away. And who says, you know, I see Charles talking about maybe he wants that one back that got over him, you know. So that'd be a fun one too. So at the end of the day, we see what happens, you know. Never say never. I go out there, I gotta do my job, get my hand raised, and let the UFC figure it out.
I love it. The resume is long, but have you ever looked back and been like, dang, I have fought some absolute machines?
I mean, it's crazy whenever somebody brings it up, right? Like they tell me, look at this, or look at your record, or if fight week, do you see who we fight? It's cool to see, but you can't sit back and smell the roses, you know. If I was Dustin Poirier, Sunday come, I'd sit back and smell the roses. But right now, we got a lot more work to do. I got a history that I want to make, and I got to stay focused on the course. You know, if you're not, you start slipping, you start falling. So it's all about adding to that. You know, people think my record now is crazy. Just wait for the next 4 years. It's gonna be more nuts.
I'd imagine everywhere you go, you have to sign a lot of autographs. But is there an athlete that you would actually stop on the street and ask for an autograph? Any athlete ever, living or dead?
Any athlete ever, autograph. I mean, I don't. You put me in the spot. I'm sure there's one that I'm gonna ask, but you know, it's funny that you say this, because I kind of stopped taking pictures with athletes or asking for autographs just because of the man that we're fighting now, you know, with Dustin in that debut fight. I remember we was on a huge card. UFC 143 was Nick Diaz versus Carlos Condit. And, bro, who was there? It was in Vegas, Mandalay Bay, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva. I saw Frankie Edgar. I meet all these guys. I took pictures with all of them, and I was like fangirling. And then after my ass got tapped out, I was sitting in the back, and I was thinking, like, man, the hell you fangirling with these guys? You a damn UFC fighter. You need to start acting like it. So after that, I made a little oath to myself to be like, bro, I ain't asking for no pictures. I ain't asking for no autographs. So, yeah. So right now, I would, but then there are certain times to do it, but I couldn't think of an athlete just because Poirier's ass. You know what I mean? No, thank you for that first fight, Poirier, because that made me realize, like, man, you need to act like you belong here.
It changed you.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe after Saturday. Maybe Lil Wayne. I know he's not an athlete, but like,
Lil Wayne,
I don't know if you're a Lil Wayne
I mean,
fan.
Lil Wayne is pretty cool, though. You know what I mean? If we run into him in the back, I mean, you're not going to not ask Lil Wayne to sign your samurai sword or whatever, you know? So at the end of the day, that's one you got to make an exception for.
I love it. Well, Max, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you.
That was the BMF, the blessed man forever, Max Holloway. And both of these men have, pound for pound, maybe the coolest custom shorts we've seen inside the octagon. And if you want to get a pair of your own, you can shop the UFC Unrivaled by Venom collection at the UFC store. That's all we have for UFC 318's edition of Fight Week Focus. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on Saturday.